Welcome back to Seeking Inner Peace, the place where we explore how to align our minds, bodies, and spirit with the rhythm of life. My name is Awa, and this one's for those of us exhausted from giving, or for those of us who have cared too much for too long. Today we're diving into something most of us were taught to avoid: being selfish. Now I know, that word might sting a little. Maybe it brings up guilt, shame, or fear? But what if I told you that being selfish is actually a sacred act, a rebellion, a return to self, a reclamation of energy that's been scattered, given away, or stolen? We're unraveling the lie that self-love must be gentle and quiet. Sometimes self-love is loud, it's firm, it's defiant. Sometimes self-love means saying, I choose me, even if it makes others uncomfortable. Today, we're talking about being selfish, not as a flaw, but as a sacred rebellion. A rebellion against depletion, a rebellion against shrinking, a rebellion against the idea that your needs must always come last. So let's journey inward and explore why radical self-love sometimes looks like saying no, like protecting your peace, like honoring your own needs for once, even if the world calls it selfish. Let's rebel lovingly. Let's begin by dismantling the programming. Selfish. They made it a weapon, a word used to control, to mold us into givers without boundaries, nurturers without rest, lovers without limits. But for many of us, especially as women, this word was loaded with expectations. But language is a spell, and I believe we can break this one. We were raised in systems, families, religions, cultures that praised selflessness as the highest virtue. That taught us to give endlessly, to be caretakers, the peacekeepers, the emotional laborers. But what if being selfless all the time is actually a form of self-abandonment? What if choosing yourself wasn't a betrayal, but a return to the temple of you, your mind, your body, your boundaries? When we say selfish, we imagine someone cold, cruel, and considerate, but that's not what we're doing here. We're not talking about harming others for our own gain. We're talking about putting ourselves on the altar, finally, and asking, what do I need to feel full? Being selfish can mean turning down a phone call to sit in silence with your breath, saying no to a family event because your spirit is tired, taking yourself out on a solo date with no explanation. Affirm this with me. I give myself permission to be full before I pour into anyone else. I give myself permission to be full before I pour into anyone else. Let's talk energy now. Everything, every person, every interaction, every thought holds a frequency. And when we're not careful, we start leaking energy through invisible wounds. In spiritual practice, we talk about cords, energetic attachments formed through relationships, expectations, even unspoken obligations. Some cords nourish us, others drain us dry. You ever walked away from a conversation feeling heavy, like you gave too much and got nothing back? That's an energetic leak. Being selfish, being disconcerting with your time and energy is actually spiritual protection. There's a simple ritual I often use. When I feel drained, I sit still. I visualize every cord extending from my body. And I ask, which cords are still serving me? And which ones are keeping me bound? Then, with love, I cut, release, and reclaim my energy. Your energy is holy, your peace is currency, and your boundaries are the temple walls protecting your sacred fire. So, affirm with me. I call my energy back to me. I am whole, I am sovereign, I am sealed in divine light. Let's pick the sacred no. one of the most radical spells you can cast. Many of us were trained to equate saying no with rejection, guilt, or even punishment, but that's not the truth. The truth is, every no creates a portal. When you say no to something that misaligns, you open space for things that truly match your spirit. Think of your life like a garden. You don't say yes to every plant, every vine, every wild weed, or your garden becomes overgrown, chaotic, unbalanced. The secret no is how you prune, how you curate your energy, how you co-create a life rooted in intentionality. And yes, saying no may disappoint people, but people's discomfort is not your compass. Alignment is. Saying no may cause temporary discomfort or disruption, but it invites lasting peace. In spiritual terms, no is a line in the sand, a protective signal. It is you declaring to the universe, I trust the divine timing, I honor my inner voice, I am not here to settle. Practice this. Next time something feels off, say no, and say it without apology, without explanation. Just say no and walk away. Affirm with me. Every no I speak clears the path for my highest yes. Radical self-love is a revolutionary act because in a world that profits from your insecurities, your exhaustion, and your silence, loving yourself loudly is dangerous. But I say, be dangerous. Be the one who rests when the world says grind. Be the one who glows when the world says dime. Be the one who chooses joy, softness, solitude, stillness, even when no one claps for you. Because your ancestors didn't survive for you to burn out. They didn't dream for you to diminish. You are their wildest frequency, the evolution of their prayers. Loving yourself radically, fully, and unapologetically is how we begin to heal the collective. And it starts with you. And yes, sometimes it starts with being selfish. Because here's the truth, a person who truly loves themselves is uncontrollable. You can't manipulate someone who knows their worth. You can't guilt trip someone rooted in their truth. You can't colonize the soul of someone who is at home within themselves. That's why systems of oppressions, capitalism, and control, they all teach us to shrink, to hustle for our value, to look outward for validation. But radical self-love is the return. It is remembering that your joy is sacred, that your softness is strength, that you're already enough without proving, producing, or performing. Radical self-love means saying, I don't need to earn rest. My body is worthy just as it is. My boundaries are not negotiable. My existence is a blessing, not a burden. This is your uprising. And yes, it will look selfish to those who benefit from your self-neglect. But you're not here to be digestible. You're here to be whole. Affirm with me. My love for myself is my rebellion. My healing is my revolution. As we wrap up today's episode, I want you to place your hands over your heart, if it feels safe. Take a deep breath. Feel your heart beating. Feel your heartbeat. Steady, divine, ancient. Whisper to yourself, I am allowed to choose me. My peace is not up for negotiation. I am no longer available for self-betrayal. If you need permission, here it is. You are not wrong for reclaiming your energy. You are not wrong for putting yourself first. You are not wrong for remembering that you are holy. This is your return, your rebellion, your rise. If today's episode stirred something in your spirit, share it with someone who you think might need to hear it. I generally upload episodes every Wednesday and Sunday, so be sure to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss an episode. I appreciate your time, and I'll see you next time.